Hello and welcome to this new episode of Odoo Unplugged. You know, when you have your software running, sometimes things go wrong. And when things go wrong, you need superheroes to help you. Hello, guys.
Hi.
So, what kind of superheroes do we have with us today? Can you introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi, I'm Sarah. I work as a customer support analyst. So basically helping customers with their issues with the software. Yeah, that's it.
But that was already a lot, no?
Yeah.
That's already saying everything.
So I'm Aurore, and I'm taking care of this amazing team, which is the support. So support Belgium and worldwide as well.
So you're the big boss. Wow. Nick Fury.
And I'm Richard, and I'm working at support as well for 8 years, and trying my best to help customers every day.
So you guessed it, today's episode is dedicated to support. What a coincidence. So actually we're going to talk about live support. So maybe it's first better to explain what we call live support at Odoo. Could you tell us?
So basically, live support is, as a customer, you are on your journey, doing your stuff, whatever the apps you're using, and at some point, you're just like, I have a question, or I'm kind of blocked. I'd like to have like a companion, someone who would work hands in glove with me and to help me. And what you do is that what you can do is you go on the support page, and you can go and ask your question, and someone will help you. It's basically what it is.
Yeah, some people might be familiar with the ticket concept that we had before. I mean, we still have it, but less than now. So now live support is actually helping customers live.
Directly,
yeah.
And it's something pretty recent, right, at Odoo?
Yes. Yeah.
How long has it been?
So we launched it the 17th of February.
Okay.
So beginning of this year. But this idea is not new, because we wanted, it's been years, in fact, that we had this idea to have a live chat on databases. And so, I think it's been more than 5 years that we try a bit that. We launched it at the point, and then we stopped because we needed some improvement, and then it stopped for a while. And then after, we tried to relaunch that. So I had a discussion with Fabien to say, now it's time. And then he said, but I'm not convinced by that. So we discussed a lot. And at the point he said, okay, it seems to be amazing, but I don't want to have it just on the database of customers, because then it was just available for the online customers. And so then we decided to say, okay, we'll have it on the support page so that it will be available for every customer.
Yes, it was a bit unfair that for tickets we would have a lot of different types of customers, so people who are hosted on their own server, people on Odoo SH, people on Odoo Online, and then all of a sudden we would have something that would be only available to a portion of the people using Odoo, which is kind of unfair for the others, considering that in the end they are still paying, or even free customers can have access to that support.
Maybe we can go back a little bit on the history and what was there before, and we will go the full thing and explain how we decided to do that. You spoiled it already a little bit. But stay. So tell a bunch of anecdotes about that, and then we'll explain what were maybe the pain points and how we solved them, because I guess this kind of process is pretty iterative to put in place, so there are plenty of things to talk about. So what was there before live support? How did we get to that point? Could you maybe give more details on that? You already told it a little bit, but we need more information.
We had live chat, and I think Richard did a lot of live
Yes.
chat.
At first,
So what was the difference then?
The difference is that when we launched live chat, it was more than a couple of years ago, and the objective was to basically talk with customers. They were asking questions. We were not just helping. It was also more like also trying to get to leads as well, this kind of information.
Yeah, it was more of a sales kind of process than what it is now that is support. So the objective was either to create a lead for our sales team, or to go towards helping them creating a ticket or directing them.
So it was really to redirect them somewhere, not to resolve the problem.
Yeah, no, not at all. Actually, not at all.
We were trying to help, but it was mainly pre-sales,
Yeah.
pre-sales work.
Okay, and then suddenly we decided, oh, it's time to change that.
Yeah.
So you said we tried a few things.
And so at the beginning of the year, Fabien told me, I will do live chat with the code here. So one day you will not be connected because I will be. And so, okay, I said, do you need help? No, I know my product, so but maybe not everything, so come with us. So we did a live chat for during a morning, during like 3-4 hours. And then say, okay, there is plenty of things to do, like because in the past when we were doing live chat, we were only 1 or 2 people connected at the same time, so we were missing plenty of opportunities. And when we tested, we never stopped. And sometimes we disconnect as well because it was too much. So then after that we say, okay, let's have everyone as support doing live chats. So we started in Belgium. So okay, now the entire team of we were 120 at that time. All of us will be connected, not the same day, but we had a planning for that also, to be more present on the website. And so we did that during 2 weeks. And then after, we said, okay, let's start the live support. So again, we did not want it to go in production directly. So we said, okay, we'll do a test. I wanted to do a test just with a sample of people. And then Fabien told me, no, let's go directly with the entire team. So okay, we have Tuesday and Thursday was a plan for the team. I said, like, everyone come at the office. We have a huge thing to launch. And so the first day of testing, I had a debrief with Fabien, and then he told me, it's amazing. Let's go in production tomorrow. And then I told him,
maybe not tomorrow.
We have the second day of testing, maybe, because the first day we were only available on the web, the help page, so odoo.com/help. And the second day we were on the entire website.
And of
We
course there were
wanted to
more
see
changes a
people.
lot, yes.
And that was crazy. We had this issue after the upgrade.
Yes, it is crazy because actually the people who go on the help page, they already have a specific question or need help for something. While if you're just visiting odoo.com, then you might have no questions, but you still see that little button that allows you to chat
There
with
is
someone.
an incentive to
And
find something to ask. Okay.
So, well, we receive a lot more questions when we have everything.
Yeah. And the approach is different.
Yeah,
Like or you have a support question and we try to dig and to help you, or it's more a pre-sales question and your conversation is different also, and the approach of talking to people is different.
From a purely product point of view now, because of course Odoo is using Odoo, so the chat feature we have on the website is the one we do. Were there things to make evolve in the product, or was it already like perfect and you could use it like right away? Yeah, I'm asking the question knowing the answer, but still.
Yes, it was not perfect.
No. Could you give a bunch of examples of things that needed to evolve to support the flows we had to support here? Maybe there was a matter of the volume of messages, or what kind of things was?
One of the things that we do with live support now is that we call the customers, which was not the case with live chat. So when we call them, it's better if we don't get any new conversations, of course, but that was not really working. So
of course, if you receive a new message that you're in a call, you're unlikely to answer it. So it's less live.
Yes, especially because we ask them to share their screen. So generally we put it in full screen. So we don't even see the messages that come in. So they had to fix that, for example, because of course it's better if the conversations don't come when we're connected with someone. But yeah, they did a lot of improvements because actually the live chat application was good, but it needed to be tested live. And that's why we actually did it right away, like testing it for real, because there is no better way of improving a product than actually using it.
Sure. Actually, you cannot foresee everything that will happen, the way people are going to use your software anyway when you develop it. And it's true for any scope of anything in Odoo or other softwares. There is a big difference between the theory and the way it works in practice. And there are things you will have foreseen, but you will have foreseen them wrong. And you'll be like, okay, but people will do that and it will work. And yes, it works, but it takes 10 minutes every time. So
and
there's
it's
no point in
also
doing
not
that.
the same if there are 2 people connected or if there are 10 people connected. The system is not working the same. And we had to put some things in place with some tags
Limits
to identify what conversation goes where, etc.
Sure, because I guess indeed not everyone is the best choice to answer every question unless you have like actual, I don't know, a superhero knowing everything, somewhere the thinker. It's not a superhero, it's a supervillain, too bad. But this kind of people who know everything, but normally people have like an expertise or something, or a few things that even many things they are very competent with, and then there is the rest for which there is other people. It's all teamwork. So you had to put something in place with tags for that. How does it work?
Actually, it works with languages first.
Okay.
So languages are more important than the expertise, because in support, actually, we are kind of generalists. So we work on everything, even though, as you said, you can have some topics that you're more comfortable with. In the end, we still try to work on everything. It's also good to have a general overview on how Odoo works. So having that knowledge is important. So first, it's going to be the language. And then based on the language, and if there is someone available for a specific topic, then we would redirect to that person. Otherwise, it's going to be someone else.
And so what we had to do is on our profile, we put the topic that we are at ease with. So if you know, I love accounting and websites, you will mainly receive those questions, but not just that also. Because if there is no question, then you will receive...
Yeah, and at the same time, on the other way, there are not all topics are covered in the tags. So depending on the question, we cannot cover everything.
It was also to keep it simple and to not have like a huge list for the customers to say, where is my issue, and to have a list of 20 topics. So we targeted the main one.
Yeah, sure. There's always a trade-off with these kind of things between having like the full exhaustive list that is impossible to use by anyone, and having something that is super short and super simple.
And it will never be exhaustive.
Yeah.
Honestly, there are so many things that you can do, and people don't always know what their question is about.
And if you make it too specific, it will just lose them in the thing, because like, but I mean, it's accounting, but not exactly what is there, and which is the right one, I don't know. So it can be even intimidating for them.
Yeah.
And also for the customer, they ask, I want to talk to a human, and first they have some question from the bot to just qualify a bit. But if it's too big, it will be boring for everyone, and they would
10 minutes of bot questions before reaching a human being doesn't seem so user-friendly.
I actually have an example, even with the simple system that we have now. If, for example, it says, I have a problem with my invoice, and then people click on that, thinking, my accounting is not working. But actually, I have a problem with my invoice. Like my Odoo invoice means something that is more administrative. So basically, their actual invoice received by Odoo. And actually, those are two different topics,
very different
not
topic,
at all related. So even there can be confusion.
Sure, but I guess this is something pretty common, actually. Even with tickets, you have this kind of things, where the title is saying something, and the description seems to be saying something, and when you ask, is it what you're asking? Because I'm not at all. Certainly not at all. So it's just the responsibility is the same. It's just working a bit differently, but so. Okay, so that means you had a lot of interactions with the R&D, I guess, because you had to make it evolve. So we know Alexandra was involved in that. Hi, Alexandra.
She's watching.
Hopefully. How did it go? How long did it take? Were there a lot of back and forth and things that you were like really tried before maybe dropping them or changing them, or how organic?
I remember that when we discussed that with Fabien December, just after the meeting that we had, he contacted Alessandra directly to say, here is all the improvement that I want to do before launching the live support. So she started with that, and with her team to improve everything. And then it was ready in February. And this is why we launched it directly in February. And then after now, we are every day in contact to say, okay, there is this issue. Here we upgraded our database. After each upgrade, there is always things. There is plenty of improvement, but there is also things to.
Yeah, because I think it's also interesting to explain that for people maybe not super familiar with the way we work. But Odoo is basically moving to our database is moving very quickly to the new intermediate version every time. So that means we are the first one testing the new features, and sometimes the new features need to be adapted a little bit. So I guess that's what you're talking about.
One of the options was not working, so we were not just available on the help page, but we were on all the pages, and we did not have enough people connected for all this. So that was one of the things, but like there were plenty of different little things also, and so we are in contact every day to improve the product.
It's important that we still keep improving and working on the product. Like when we launched it, it was ready to be launched, but not completely
bulletproof.
Kind of bulletproof. Yeah, that's a good word. So there are things that we're still working on, and only our experience can make that happen, because we then have like real concrete facts. And basically, since the live chat application is an application that can be used by everyone, it's also good that we try to improve it even for our customers to use in their website.
Sure. Yeah, since it's part of the product, the improvements we made for us are also for everyone that's using the feature.
Yes.
So, great. So indeed, it went like super fast to deploy it, and as you say, you cannot wait. Anyway, you cannot wait for the software to be perfect. What does it even mean before deploying it? But here, it's true that we went really fast.
I think I stopped the explanation of the launching when it was the second day of testing.
Okay. What happened after the second day of testing? We want to know.
So on Thursday, again, he told me, we go in production tomorrow.
Bam!
And I said, it's Friday, maybe let's wait for Monday. And also I was leaving to Dubai on Friday, so to go to the one of the team in support there. And so I said, like, I cannot launch something and leaving my team here in Belgium. I would like to be there, so can we wait for 3 weeks when I will be back?
Spoiler alert.
No, it will be Monday. So then we had to prepare everything. And when I say it was a bit complicated, it's because it wasn't just launching it in Belgium with the team of 120, but it was like with support worldwide.
But it's crazy. It's actually super ballsy to try something like that, because you would expect it to be done by phase and offices by offices.
Aren't we ballsy at Odoo?
taking the feedback. Yeah, that's my point. And then, so that's
in my
crazy.
mind, it was first that I say I will test it with Belgium and we'll find our way of working, and then we'll launch it worldwide.
Then you heard that, and you're like, what the fuck?
I said that to the support manager to say, chill, in a month we'll launch that. Just prepare your team that this is coming. And then I say, Monday.
I was personally on holidays. So great.
Surprise! So you came back from your holidays, and
I got the news from people. So I knew before coming back, but still I was like, okay, I'm not experiencing those testing phases.
It was intense for everyone. But also, I think that this is what is great with Odoo, is that we are able to do these kind of things. People are aware that changes is all the time in the company. I don't say that it wasn't easy. It was tough for the team. But I think that it's awesome to work at Odoo because we can do these kind of things. To say like, we need to do changes, let's go for it. We put it in production, and then we try to adapt based also on the feedback of the customers, and the feedback were amazing from the customer, and also the feedback of the team, who at first it wasn't amazing.
It was changing for everyone, but in the end it's super rewarding. So it's really cool. That we took this opportunity to go further.
What was your both of you your first contact with the feature? How did it go? What did you think of it?
Basically, as I did other kind of support before, I was like, oh, is it gonna be? Is it gonna be stressful or not? But at first, I was like, okay, let's start for a blank page to me, and I was like, okay, let's do it. And I was a bit, thinking about what I did before, and was like, okay, let's see. And I finally started my first conversation. The first one I had were super challenging because sometimes I had, topics I didn't know exactly about, or I wasn't at ease with it. And then I was like, okay, I don't mind, I will give it a try. And if I have any question, we are Odoo, so we can still, tell to the customer, listen, well, I will help you, of course, but I will double check with someone because I'm not 100% sure, but that's how we work, So in the end, it was super cool.
Must have been a bit like, in the old days, because you've been here for a while, huh? What I'm talking about. You're in front of the ticket and you're like, what is that? And then you need to learn and all that. The only thing is that you need to do it live now.
And I remember that at some point, I remember that I was working on a few tickets, accounting tickets, and I was like, what am I going to do with this? And like you said, I sometimes went to you and was like, I don't get anything. And
I had the same reaction because it hadn't been such a long time since I was in the company, and you don't even have no idea the number of features I discovered that way. What is that?
Does that even exist?
Okay, interesting.
Even if you have a very good knowledge of the product, people can do so many things, so many configurations, customizations, etc. that for an app that you really know, you can still be discovering things. So that's
it's
the
a
crazy
box.
thing.
At some point, you're just like, I know the app, and then this is not being.
I've never seen that button.
What is this? And then your colleagues comes and say, what the fuck is this?
Is this standard? Yes, it is. Okay.
Definitely it is.
Yeah, true. And it's true that even when you get more experience, you still have those moments every once in a while. You're like, what is that? You discover something that was made by someone completely different, and like, okay, that's interesting.
Is it working?
It depends. Usually when people ask you the question, it's not. But we fix it. It's fine. What about you? How did it go after your holidays? How long did you manage to stay calm and resourced by
I think
those
30
days
seconds
off?
maximum. No, but I had mixed feelings because during the time we were doing live chat, I was not really a fan of it. The pre-sales thing, I was happy to help customers, but I didn't feel it was really helping them, like more redirecting to someone else, which is something that I don't really enjoy doing. But at the beginning of the live support, I was kind of a bit in between two feelings. The satisfaction of when you are able to help someone and you feel the happiness of the customer in front of you, that is very, very satisfying. And at the same time, the frustration of having 10 people who talk to you at the same time and not being able to go in details, in depth, in the investigation, in the help that you're going to be able to provide to them, especially because at the beginning, depending on how many people we were connected at the same time, then you could have a lot of conversations at the same time and then be a bit stuck with those conversations, not being able to disconnect, to be able to help each customer at a time. So it was a bit stressful, but at the same time interesting, because then you might tackle topics that you weren't tackling anymore, that you're not used about anymore. And so it was a bit of both.
Yeah, but that's interesting. It's actually, foreshadowing a few things we will discuss probably in the second half of the episode about the way people actually reacted to that. I guess we had to adapt the system a few times, right? Because not everything is perfect immediately, but even from a purely organizational point of view, where there are like changes in the way the software was used. So even without touching the code, changing the way people worked with it to try to solve the problems a little bit.
As we did not have a lot of time to be ready, it was a bit like, okay, we'll be connected and we'll see. And so what we did at the beginning was to have people being connected on the chat and never disconnect. to receive all the questions from customers, and there were another team that were there to help and to jump on conversation to try to do calls with customers. The issue with that was that you were in chat, as Sarah said, you had 10 or maybe 20, depending on the language that you were talking, because some of people are just talking one specific language, and there were plenty of people coming for this. So sometimes it was a lot, and I think that the biggest number that we had was 14 an hour, which was really a lot. And also, so those persons who were receiving plenty of conversation were trying to help the customer, but also calling for help in another chatter to say, I have this conversation in accounting Spanish, is someone available? And sometimes also it was people were not available, so then you're waiting for someone to come and help you. But
you're
no
trying
one
to
is
gain
coming.
time on the other side.
And
Sure.
really stressful for
grab a
the
coffee.
Yeah,
employees.
sure. Because I guess it's something that needs to be pointed out. Those people are, when you're contacting any kind of customer support, the ones that answer to you, they want to help you, and so it's their job. And normally they like it, and they are involved in this relationship with the customers. And indeed, if the system makes it so it's impossible for them to help directly, it's stressful, and it also gives instantly this feeling that they're frustrating the customer and that essentially they're not doing the job the right way. And indeed, if it comes from an organization and a system, it's annoying because it's not actually their fault, but they will take it as if it was their fault. So indeed.
Yeah, the customers can blame you for the time you're taking to answer, but they don't always realize how many people we have at the same time. So it's not that we don't want to help them. Of course, our goal is to help them. It's also why we're working at support. I mean, it's in our personality and in our soft skills that we are kind of eager to help customers. So the point is to help them. The way we can help them and the easiness we have to actually be able to answer all these customers in a very limited amount of time is another story. It's a bit more difficult.
And we can use this answer to bridge on a question that was asked in the chat, because we are reaching the time for the break. So I'm going to take the few minutes we have now to just answer that question. How could you improve ticket response time and be more accurate in your answers? The AI help chat is great, but there is more than humans could still do. What do you think about this? Because I think we are discussing a way we used to improve that already, right?
Of course. Because by using live chat, we are trying to decrease the creation number of tickets, and we are trying to be faster. And at the same time, we still have people. We all are working on tickets, so we are really trying our best to make it faster for everyone. So it's really our objective to get answers to our customers as fast as possible.
Yeah, and regarding the AI for the bot, I mean, it's also something that was launched recently, and it is fed regularly to be more accurate, more to the point, and answer the questions better. But of course, it takes time. It has to be fed regularly to be able to have something very accurate. And for now, I mean, that's a good way to show that the bots cannot replace humans.
Exactly.
Completely.
Because the human part is still very important.
But for us, it was important to launch it at the same time also, so that we will not have everything, but also people can try the AI first. And so we did some tests previously also to see if it was answering correctly, to have the right sources for that, and then to feed the sources. And that I think the marketing team continue to work on this also. We report every time there is a not good answer, we tell them also so that they can adapt the sources.
Plus, outside of just the AI, because of course there's just the fact that having this live support thing now is also, I think, helping the big picture, because at the end of the day, all the simple questions, you can answer them right away. So easy. So all those questions, they never create ticket in our backend. So it's never something that will take time later for people to solve. So that means only more serious things, or at least for people going through the life support, but I guess it's a majority, only the serious things will end up being on tickets because they will need some more investigation. And so at the end of the day, it also I think, gives us a bit of view, right, of, well, the big issues and how long they've been there. And so that means we can prioritize those better because we have a bit of view of them, right?
Yeah, and the difficulty, I mean, sometimes when a customer contacts us, it's not even about the complexity of the topic that is in place, but it's also about understanding how the database is configured, what the business of the customer is. It's a lot of things. I mean, someone who's working on a specific accounting localization, they have a specific need, and the investigation that will be done according to that is totally different. So you can also say that the specific business, the core business of the company matters.
True.
The way you investigate.
And when the live support can do a difference, or the fact that you have an instant chat or call with the customer can make a difference, is that anyone having interacted on some tickets someday knows that the customers, they don't always answer right away. And so it can take 1 day, 2 days to get an answer to anything you're asking them. And so if you need to get your head around the context in which they're using Odoo, it can even take like 1 week, 2 weeks, depending on how slow the guy is to answer. But well, other tickets don't stop in the meantime. And so at the end of the day, it's indeed, I guess, more efficient also to have like this direct connection
conversation,
with the customer.
And having a call with the customer helps as well, because then you can just tell them, okay, I'm not sure I understood the problem or the way you want to configure a thing, but maybe you can show me. And they share their screen, and then we have like a clear overview. And then even if it's like something complex that we need to investigate on the side and not stay on the call, but at least you had that first introduction, you know clearly what the customer is looking for to implement or to accomplish, and then you can just work on that.
Okay, and we will stop here to do a little break of a few minutes. Then we will go back on the other benefits of this new system, because we like gave a few things of that already. But the question was nice, so thank you for that. Don't hesitate to ask other questions in the chat, of course. And see you in a few minutes. And we are back live for the live support. So we were discussing a few of the benefits of this new system, and so we were answering the question that was asked in the chat. Would there be other benefits to the system? So is it good?
Is it good to have a live
Yeah,
support?
it's a critical question. Pay attention to your
That's
answer.
why when we launched it also, we had plenty of customers who were asking, where can I create a ticket?
Mhm.
And we were saying, no, we are there for you. And yeah, sometimes they do not have time, so they prefer to create it.
So they can still do so.
But yeah, of course, so we did not block that. There is still a way to create tickets. But the majority were saying that also, can I ask all my questions right now? Can we have
Everything.
a call? And sometimes kind of implementation as well. Yes, we can help. If you have plenty of questions, we are there to help you.
Mhm.
So one of the big benefits of live support was also in January, we had an average of ticket creation of 10,000 per week.
Mhm.
Which means, yeah, it was
It's a lot.
It's a
lot.
an average of 2,000 per day,
Mhm.
even a bit more. So it was crazy. And to find like where there is an emergency in all these 10,000 issues, it was impossible. So of course we had the phone, the emergency line, where the customer can call to prioritize tickets. But yeah, how to manage those 10,000 requests per week was a big question.
Mhm.
Yeah, and at the same time, on the phone, it was not possible to actually guide the customers.
Yeah.
So sometimes people would call us saying, yeah, I have this urgent issue. Yeah, I created the ticket, but I want help now. And you would try to help them, but in the end, you don't see their screen and they cannot really show you what they're doing. You cannot really guide them towards what they want to do. So it was creating a bit of frustration as well,
Sure.
which is something that we still have that emergency line, of course, but now we can just redirect them to the live support and then they can talk to someone also on the phone. With no extra cost as well, and and actually show their
Show
screen
the
and
issue and have
yeah.
something, because indeed I don't know if it's obvious for everyone watching us, so let's just insist a little bit on that, but explaining the issue, your issue might seem you might think that it's really okay, you know what is going wrong, you can explain it and
Straightforward,
people will get it, it's straightforward. It's not actually showing the flow, showing the thing within Odoo and explaining it in the meantime helps a lot people from support, and even internally to Odoo it's like that. When someone from support comes to us in R&D with one of those tickets, you know, that are, let's say, a bit more problematic, it's the same for us. We need to understand each other, and just having the explanation quickly, this is that, it's not always enough, and seeing it in action can help and can open a lot of doors as well, because you might see the issue and be like, what is that, or hear about the issue, be like, what is that? But when you see it in action, you see something else on the screen, something that
Doesn't
what
feel
what
right.
is that?
Sounds
It doesn't seem okay, and it can give you hints of another issue that would be like the underlying problem, and make it pop to your eye
Yeah,
directly.
actually, Odoo is like a kind of a web. You know, you can go in so many directions in terms of configuration, in terms of just the apps that you have, the modules that you install, etc. That means that it can go into so many directions that if you don't see it, then you can be very confused about how you're going to be able to solve it. And it's not about, because we are a lot talking about issues, but the live support is not only about issues, it is also about configuration. So people can
Pure
say,
questions, actually.
I saw this in a video showing how to configure this thing, and I cannot make it work. And I don't see the button that you're talking about in this video, because there are so many things, small things that can be configured, then people can miss one of the configurations that are needed.
Yeah, or they could be watching mistakenly something from
Yeah.
an older version, but not that old, but too bad the button is not there
It's not
anymore, and
there
you have
anymore,
something
yeah.
else to activate it, but they don't know it. And indeed, it's interesting to have a direct discussion about those things. And this is typically the kind of case I was talking about in the first half of this episode. It's maybe not easy questions all the time, but it's questions that can be answered directly, and you don't need to have a ticket and the time of sending mails and each time waiting for the other, and that's why we can reduce the number of tickets with that indeed.
And so that's what from 10,000 per week, we diminished to 7,000 per week, and now we are at 6,000 per week.
Yay!
So that's fine,
And like you stress it out, basically all our customers are not made equal. I mean, you have all kinds of customers. You have experts, you have people starting the business, so it's really cool that we can discuss and exchange very directly. And like you said, if someone is looking at the wrong content or doesn't know anything, we can really help them very quickly. It's cool.
Yeah, the difference between tickets and live support that can be kind of a downside is that on the ticket, generally you tackle one problem or one question. On live support, people can ask a lot of questions about a lot of apps, about a lot of features, about everything.
But indeed, and I think it's touching something very important, because why don't we keep the same ticket to all the questions and they put everything at the same place in one go, and then that's it, we just answer everything, just because it's impossible to work properly with these kind of things.
In terms of time management, it's super
yes,
hard
huge.
because I mean, as you said earlier, when people create a ticket, well, you take the ticket and then you wait for like maybe 2 days to have an answer. So in the meantime, you take another ticket. We don't take one ticket per day, obviously. So so in the end, you have like 5-6 people at the same time, and then all of a sudden they all answer at the same time, and you actually have to investigate each of them. So if then one of the people is asking 2-3 different questions on different topics at the same time, then it's actually things that you need to investigate separately, and then your workload
and as long as there is only one ticket on our side, it's supposed to be something one person is working on. So be it someone from functional, technical support, bug fix, R&D, whatever. And so it makes things more difficult to have multiple subjects on the same ticket. And it's difficult also, I guess, to put priority on those, because what do you prioritize? The oldest ticket? Yeah, but that guy asked a question after another one on a more recent ticket. So which one should be priority? So you need to take everything into account, and basically to compute everything yourself all the time.
Yeah, and one thing is not because that might be confusing for people, but it's not because we tackle the ticket or the task with one person. So like a person is assigned to a task that we don't work together. So we ask questions, we collaborate, we try to find solutions. But in the end, the person who's going to communicate with the customer is one person. It's a unique person. And at the same time, if you're, as you said, if you're investigating something, then okay, if the person is coming back with another question, then what do you do? Is there a priority in the questions that the person asked? So are you supposed to answer the last question first, or answer the first question first? And that's something that is actually hard on live support, because then you can have people who are asking a lot of questions, and then you need to tackle one by one, say, okay, I'm going to help you, but let's start from the beginning.
But the fact they get an answer immediately, or immediately, you get it,
nearly
immediately, is helping as well, because they will have their answers. So it's okay for them to just ask the questions one at a time. They don't have the frustration of having someone telling them, but you need to create another ticket for that, otherwise it's going to be messy, and have 2, 3, 4 tickets. I don't know if they have many questions at the same time, and you know, for the customer, I guess it's also, you know, it's like when you go to a small shop near your place, you like to have this contact with the seller. It's simple. It's just this relationship, this commercial relationship. You have one person of reference, and it's good. And I think having all your questions that you can ask to the same person with live support is also better, because you know, okay, that person answered my first question right, so let's ask the other ones, and it flows better, I would say. It's more natural, I would say, for people. Yeah,
but so the confusion that can arise from there is that at some point they would connect, like, I don't know, a week later and say, I want to talk to...
Yeah, sure.
Which is not how it works.
It's not how it works.
Yeah, it's not dedicated. Even if you think it could be like dedicated, we are not dedicated to someone directly. I mean, not that support. Yeah.
Actually, yes, that's the thing. So for paid customers, so people who are paying the software, there is a dedicated team if you want to have like a dedicated person working on your business, then there is a team of consultants that do that, and it's a different job.
We did an episode with them, so go watch it.
So it's a different job. I mean, it's really different. We're here to, of course, help as much as possible, but we don't provide a dedicated offer, at least not.
Yeah, we're not
And that's
implementing.
right, we changed a bit the mindset of support when we launched the live support, because that's right. Previously, we were also more often saying this will be for success pack, and here
Could you
we
explain
are.
what is a success pack for
Yeah.
people?
They can watch the business analysis.
Very good. Fast learner, huh?
So yeah, success pack is like when you buy hours to have a dedicated consultant helping you for like all the questions that you have with Odoo to help you implement Odoo. And you have like 25 hours, 50 hours, 100 hours, and 200 hours.
Okay.
And so yeah, with us it's different. Like we are there to help you. Sometimes it's also the end of our day, and so we will probably stop at a point. And I don't remember why I was staying.
But so yeah, the difference is just
Yeah,
that.
so the mindset of support that now we are really trying to help on everything. And yes, maybe we can say, oh, what is the difference now between business analyst and between support? The difference is really because we are not dedicated to your project. We are just the person that was there when you wanted to ask the question. But we will not follow you after also.
Yeah, and we don't have that much knowledge of the whole business, the full picture of the business of the customer, which is something that the consultants take time to analyze before they even try to implement something. So sometimes it's also good for customers to know that it might be better to go for a pack to be sure that the issue is the questions are tackled in a broad sense instead of just coming and saying, how can I add this on my database?
If you want to talk, let's put it that way. Like if you want to talk business language with someone and really have something, I'm doing that because in my industry we have this, that. It's more something for a consultant.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to give a simple example. A customer asking to add a field. They have the app studio, so they're asking to add a field that might be like computed from something else. And our approach would be to try to help them create that field. But an approach from a consultant would be, why do you need to create that field? And maybe we can find another functional solution without having to create that field. And we try to do that as well, but if we don't have the full picture, it's more difficult for us to identify that this field might not be needed. So this difference is quite important because then they might have less customization and go for more standard things. I mean, generally it's easier when you have like really a full investigation of the customer's business and needs.
Okay, I think we give enough information on the benefits of the system. What would be the inconvenience? So first of all, we mentioned it a bit already, but I suppose we can go back to that a little bit. I guess, humanly speaking, so indeed, a lot of things needed to be adapted, and in the process, at the beginning, I guess not everybody was super happy with it. So what were the key things that needed to be
You mean the
improved?
employees?
Yeah, the employees. What were the actions taken for that, and what were the biggest challenges?
I think it's something that I said previously also, that feedback is always welcome from customers and from employees also. And so, of course, we try to see what is constructive and what we can work on and what is the dramatic part. And so with this, we see, okay, what are the things to improve? And that's right, at the beginning of the launch, we were changing every week. We had a new way of working also. And that was a bit intense for the team to say, okay, now this week I will work differently, this week again. But it was always based on the feedback that we were receiving to see there is an issue, we have to work on this and find solution. And that's right. Now we are in June, and I think that we finally find something that
Some
seems
stability.
That works. Yes.
seems
More or
to
less.
work to work well for everyone.
Because people essentially have more work than before. Would you say that, or?
If you just check the numbers itself,
Uh-huh.
I would say yes, because like the reduction, we have less ticket created, but the conversation that we have on the live chat is not just double, but so if I remember correctly, in January we had an average of 600 conversation per day on the live chat, and now with the live support is 1,600 per day.
Yeah. So a lot more conversations, and at the same time, as we said before, it's not only one question per conversation. So obviously they can ask more than one question.
You can cover lots of subjects. It can get intense at some points. Like Sarah said before, we have many different conversations at the same time. So yeah, it's intense, but still it's challenging for all of us.
One
Yeah.
of the improvement that we did was at the beginning it was a day of live support. And I think that you can.
That's not a good idea. For my mental,
It's good to change that.
my mental sanity, I need less time.
And honestly,
connected.
it's like we discussed that a bit earlier, but it's like a computer, you know. You ask a question, then you get a second question, and every time you get a new question, you are stopping, then you have like to change a thread, and you are, thinking, oh, I need to do that, and then you change.
You're seriously talking about threads in a live stream to explain things to people. You have to context
Make
switch.
it, make it more simple.
Basically, we are not computer ourselves, so we have to. When you work on something, you need to focus on something. Then every time you change, you need to refocus on that point.
Yeah,
so,
multitasking is a bit difficult.
It's a multitasking. Even
it's not even difficult. It's impossible for the human brain.
So it's super exhausting when you are changing all the time. So a complete day was skull crushing. Really, you need time to adapt, and half a day is really great. It's good.
Yeah, and actually one of the issues, and that can be frustrating if you have a longer conversation, is that people don't always realize that we talk with several people at the same time. So if they don't get an answer within 1 or 2 minutes, they can get frustrated.
Yeah.
Which actually, it's not that I'm waiting behind my computer saying, I'm going to let him wait for like 5 minutes
Sitting
because
waiting,
I said
You
so.
never know.
No, I don't do that.
Oh.
Don't you?
But in the end, when you have 5, 6 people talking to you at the same time, obviously you cannot answer all of them at the same time. So we try to make them understand. That's the biggest thing, as I think we try to do.
It's super important to be transparent what we do when we have a lot of different conversation with, there are simultaneous. So what we do is that on my side, what I do is I have like 5 conversations at the moment. I will tackle your issue very soon. Just give me a few minutes. I'm working on this one, and then I will be back to you. So I think it's super important to tell people that we're there for them, and we are transparent. So it's very important. So if you are honest, is the biggest point for us.
I think so, because I think it's true for many things in the relationship to customers. I worked as a student for years, 1 month during the holidays at customer service. Not at all something related to IT, but anyway. But we were using Odoo version 8. Yay! And so something I understood after a few days, because it was pretty tough. It was a pretty dense period. That's why they were hiring students at that time. Is you have to put limits to what you give to the customer. Even if you want to give like the top-notch service, you have to put limits, because if you don't put them, the customers don't always, and actually nearly never, realize how much they are pushing you and they are taking from you. And when you put those limits, saying, wait 5 minutes and I'll be there, it's totally okay. And they understand. They're like, sure, there are other people. Of course, 5 minutes, no problem. But you have to put that limit. Otherwise, they will just take it and not understand.
The point of the live support, especially because it's online, is to make it as human as possible, and that people can understand that behind the screen, after the bot that they've talked to, there is a human being, and the human being is doing its best, their best, to answer the questions. But of course, to the limits that we have. So, for example, if we have someone reporting an error message, then we need to be able to reproduce that error message. So we need to connect to that database. We need to duplicate it because we don't want to work in production. We need to test the flow, and then we need to figure out what the problem is coming from. That doesn't take 2 seconds. That takes a lot of time. So even if it's a simple error message and you see in the code what it means, you probably know what it might be related to. If you don't test, then you don't know for sure. So yeah.
Speaking about limits, because that can be maybe a question to say, hey, I checked the live chat and it's possible to put a limit. This is something that we tried, but we put that in place at a point because it started to be too much for
the number of conversations.
So we put the limit, I think, to 12 because otherwise we will miss a lot of conversation otherwise. So we put it that, but 12 conversation at the same time is already too much. We try other things also to have like the entire team connected to say like, what do we do if we are all there, and that they were so boring.
Yeah, for some people, actually, for some people it's super boring. For others, it's still coming a lot. For example, we were talking about the number of languages that people can speak, and of course, if there are, if you have many languages, or if you have some very used languages, then obviously it's.
So now what we say is that you know your limit, and so in fact you will disconnect when you have enough, or when you say, okay, I have a conversation, I absolutely need to do an investigation, so I will disconnect, I will take care of those one, and then other people will connect instead of me.
Yeah, you have to imagine if, for example, you have 12 conversations with a question that requires a yes or no answer, then 12 is not that much.
Yeah.
But if you have 12 conversations where you actually need to dig in and understand the business and really give, like, send maybe a video, do a call or whatever, then, well, it's not manageable. Even 2 is a lot, actually, in that case. So.
Yeah, and I think it's more human to have something where people like can just react and tell themselves, okay, for now that's enough, and let's just close that, and then I will take another one. And at the end of the day, it's more organic, and it's, you know, it's Odoo like. I like it. Do you have sometimes also people, because since it's live, it means that when someone is having a big problem, they will come directly to you, well, in the chat, and so they might be very angry. So do you have more people that are like more aggressive like that, or is it?
I wouldn't say so. We sometimes have people who are angry. It's normal.
The ones who write messages in capital letters. I had that once in red characters and capital letters. That's
not once. That's not once.
I had it only once.
On the tickets now. Maybe we had this.
I'm not sure you're talking about the same one, but I might know which one you're talking about.
In general, I wouldn't say that people come that often angry. They have questions. They want answers. So if you take a lot of time to answer them, of course they are maybe a bit angry and they want to get something. So I would say that in my experience, I had a few ones, but it's not like a majority. People come
so
and
it's not worse now.
It's not worse than
it's not worse than
before.
tickets.
No.
We used to have tickets with everything in cap lock. We were like,
also, it depends on what you call angry.
Yeah.
So someone who comes with a stressful situation where, I mean, I understand, like, they're not directing their anger towards us. They're just explaining that they're totally blocked, and we can understand that. So not taking it personally is also super important in these cases. The moment it becomes really like an angry customer is when they actually attack you personally, and that's then when the problem occurs. But it's not, I mean, it's common, but not
it's not
the majority.
I mean,
not the majority.
Not the majority of, no. But the thing is, like Sarah just said, if you have someone who's working with accounting and made some mistake and they are getting controlled, this can be kind of stressful for customers. So when they come to you, I had one customer recently, and she came through live chat, and she said, I have a control, I really need to be helped because something is wrong. And and this is fair, you know, and she wasn't that angry, you know, she was
really
panicking.
afraid that
she was panicking. So I just took the time to reassure her, to say that I was there, that we would make a call, and if the authority were coming to our place, we would, you know, take the call and explain them what we were doing and why it was taking time. So that's what we do. So
that's one of our main role, in fact. To in fact show them that
Be there.
we are there to help.
Mhm.
Yep.
And they are in good hands, like they call the right person.
Mhm.
And even if we don't know everything, then and we see that there is an emergency, we'll find
Yeah.
Yeah.
the expert,
You're not
the
alone.
right person who will be able
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, or if
And-
someone has a point of sale and then is not able to
Sell.
make their
Selling.
shop
Yeah.
work,
Yeah.
it is kind
It
of
is a bit
problematic.
annoying, yeah.
Or a website that is not that does not work anymore. That those are things that
Yeah.
we know it can be panicking.
Yeah.
So we of course
that's
take
what,
that into account.
I do not like to just check numbers,
Mhm.
but here the numbers are saying that as well. When you see the green faces that we are
Mhm.
receiving, so people that are
The ratings.
satisfied
Yeah, the
with
ratings are good. Yeah.
it increases since we started the live support.
Mhm.
And when we launched the live support in February, we had an average of 60% of customer happy, and here we reach already the 70. It's 72 this week, and we had some weeks with reaching 80% of customer satisfied.
Cool.
Which is
So
great.
it's,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Rewarding.
Good job for the entire
Mhm.
team. Also.
Good job.
It's super rewarding. Yeah.
we're just gonna delete the unhappy faces.
Shut down the microphone.
That was recorded.
That was live.
Damn.
Oops. You did it again.
Okay, we're reaching the end of the episode. As a quick conclusion, I will have just one question. Is it perfect now? With nothing to change? Do we keep it like this?
It's never perfect.
I think there's always room for improvement, I guess. So with time along, we'll probably adapt. But I think it's
Yeah.
already working well.
Do you have an
It's-
example
it's
of something
actually-
you would change and that is working but could be better?
Yeah, I have an example. So we were talking about simultaneous conversations.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
One of the biggest things for me, at least, would be to have a kind of a buffer time between the arrival of conversations,
Mm-hmm.
so that it allows you to at least have a first contact with each person before you get another one.
It's
That would help a
incredible.
lot because yeah, I know.
The R&D is working on
Wow.
it.
So
Already.
that would be great because then even if you need more time to investigate, at least you had one first contact.
So the person
Yeah.
knows
The
that there is
person- yeah.
someone on the other
Yeah.
side.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's like,
it
when you
decreases
when you
the
call
frustration.
when you call on the phone and you wait for half an hour
Yeah.
to have someone. I did that not so long ago, half an hour, and then I quit. And the web page say that I had like 2 minutes of
No,
each time
it's
for
never
waiting.
true.
What the fuck? But anyway,
Mhm.
true story. But it'll be for another time. Okay, so we are
Another
already
thing that we
working on
can
improvements.
improve is also the language. So
Yeah.
we say also that first you receive your conversation based on the language that you talk. That will be amazing if an AI translate everything directly. So
Mhm.
there is not this restriction of I speak Spanish, so I receive all the Spanish conversation, and I only speak English, so I'm chill.
Yeah.
That will be a great improvement also.
Mm.
R&D.
So AI might be coming. AI.
More things are coming.
Like always with Odoo.
Yeah.
It's what we say in every episode. People are used to that.
Yeah.
But it's good that we can keep up doing so.
But nothing is perfect, but we are working on improving it.
Mhm.
And that's right. Every day we are aiming to the best service customer ever.
Yay. And that will be the final word of this episode. And frankly, quite a good sentence. You can quote it, share it, all that. Thank you for your answers, explanations,
Thank you too.
anecdotes. Thanks, of course, to the audience as well. I hope you found it interesting and you learned tons of things. And we will see each other again next month for a new episode. See you there. Cheers.
Thank you.